guys, Lisa here, back with the next part in my series of how to publish your first crochet pattern. This is, I don't know what number this is, but we're on product photography and how to edit them. And I'll have all kinds of options, from expensive options to free options, and what I use. So let's get started. Actually, before I get started, let me just tell you this is a terrible day to take any outdoor or indoor product photography unless you have external lighting. It is cloudy and rainy, and it will be dark and cloudy and rainy all week, so perfect. I have absolutely zero passion for photography. Let me just put that out here right now. I only take photos because I must. So if you are someone who actually enjoys the whole thing, you might want to get a whole setup, but I just make do because I don't really love it in the first place. Also, I do have a lot of experience with Photoshop, so I'm pretty good at editing photos if they're not quite good enough to make them good enough. But it's definitely better to take good photos in the first place because, I mean, you can kind of tell when photos have been edited a lot, like the quality goes down, they're not as sharp and clear, but you know, it's just crochet pattern product photography. It doesn't have to be a 10 out of 10 unless you want it to be. So take all of this knowledge that I give you in this video and either go out and get more knowledge or just make do. So one of the most important things about having any sort of success, whether you want to be like a whole personality on the internet, whether you want to sell a lot of patterns in the future, not to start, because your first patterns are all going to be free, right? Whether you want to exclusively just casually release crochet patterns for like a blog or something like that, being able to recognize your work immediately when you see photos is so powerful. Like, that matters more than anything. Like, having a recognizable look, whether that's because your face is in them, or maybe you always have your hands in the photos and you wear like certain rings or something, or a nail polish that's on brand, or you always take photos like on the same table and you have really attractive flat lays that use certain items in every photo. This isn't something you need to decide now. This is something you're going to be playing around with for several years until you really nail down like a look that you like. And even then, every couple of years you might change it up because people grow constantly and learn and change, and that's totally normal. But it's really good to try and start now to develop like a consistent look. I don't really have a consistent look as far as like aesthetics goes for my photos, but my face is in most of them, so I don't really have to try because my face doesn't change. So that's one way that putting your face in all of your photos can help with that. Like, just start practicing. Even if today, after you watch this, you're not ready to release any kind of pattern, it's not a bad idea to just take a week and practice taking photos of different things you've already made that aren't necessarily your pattern, just to start getting some skills in that area if you've never done it before. And speaking of having your face in photos, mine's not in every photo. In fact, one of the reasons that I love taking bag photo shoots so much is because I just use so I don't even do my makeup or my hair or anything. God, I love bag photo shoot days. But you really should consider being your own model if you're making wearables. Again, the brand recognition is huge. And also, I feel like it just makes you more comfortable with yourself. Like, I'm quite indifferent to my own face at this point. Like, I've seen 80 bajillion photos, both flattering and incredibly unflattering, of my face at this point. Like, I do not care what I look like most days because I'm so desensitized to my own face. So, hell, you should do it just for therapeutic reasons. With time, with practice, you can figure out, like, you know what, everybody has good angles. They do. Even if you don't think that you do. You do. Everybody has them. Over time, you can figure out, like, where you look best from, how to do it, and then you'll just get better at it. Now, using the hat that I'm using to guide this whole video series. Like, here are the photos I took of this hat. I didn't even set up a tripod. I just held my phone in my hand and just casually took the pictures because it was a free pattern. And again, as I said in some of my other videos, that's the amount of effort I'm willing to put in for free patterns sometimes. I'm sorry, I'm very selfish. But it's so nice just like being able to not take it seriously like I do with my paid patterns. It's such a chill process. I literally was just like, I didn't even actually put makeup on. I used a phone app to add really subtle makeup. You can do that. They won't be high quality photos though. They'll be lower quality. But just like I'm using TikTok filters to film all of these videos, so they're lower quality, but that doesn't matter because look how cute I am. And like, just to show you guys the difference in when I put effort into like my whole face and when I don't. Like, here's a side by side of a photo where my head's gonna get cropped out and a photo where my head is the feature. Like, night and day, am I right? So it would also be helpful if you learn some real basic makeup skills. It doesn't even have to look that good because it's not like you're taking like really like close up high definition photos of your face. So it can be a little sloppy and still look good, but pretty faces sell better. It's just a dumb fact of our planet Earth. Humans suck. And we value beauty above everything else, and it's total bullshit. But I do recommend learning some basic makeup skills in order to take photos. But that said, does she look like a beauty queen? She doesn't. She just looks like, you'd see this chick at the grocery store, you'd be like, wow, I bet she really wants to eat some chocolate right now. She looks miserable. Like, in her, you think, wow, how can anyone look that good? She doesn't look that good for more than 3% of the year, okay? I promise you. This is not real. I mean, it's real, but it's not real. You know what I mean? So, like, don't think that you're not good looking enough. I promise you are. You are. When I'm done yapping, I'll go over, like, the photo editing options for you guys, but I'm still talking about photos, so I'm not gonna, like, show you any kind of setups or anything. I think one really good thing for everyone to do is to go on Etsy, type in like blank crochet pattern, like, you know, amigurumi or hat, whatever, and look at the listings that have the bestseller marks on them and just look at the kinds of photos that those people who have bestsellers have taken. Just get inspiration from that. For practice, you can even just straight up copy some of their photos with things you already own. But don't do that like for your actual listing photos. But this is what artists do to learn new techniques. What do? You copy Monet, you copy Picasso, etc. to learn more techniques. So just copy for practice some of the photos you see in these bestsellers. That's a really good way to learn. While you're taking photos, every few, like there's not a solid number, but every few photos you take, just go ahead and scroll through them and just immediately delete the ones that are garbage. Like, there's gonna be plenty. Just do it now. And then when you think you're done, scroll back through all of your photos again. Really think about which ones turned out and which ones didn't. Aim for like 10 good photos that you can choose between. Like, all 10 should be good. At least 6 of them should be very different, like completely different angles, different views. If it's a wearable product and you can wear the item in more than one way, you definitely want photos of that. The key is make sure you have every single photo that you need, because recreating this photo shoot, you're not going to do that. You're going to hate yourself. You don't want to do that. Do not quit taking photos until you are 100% certain that you are not lacking any photos that you need. Another important thing to note is how much social media has changed over the last couple of years. Video is everything now, and static photos just aren't doing it anymore. TikTok has exploded. Instagram is largely really only promoting reels at this point. So it's also a really good idea to shoot some video clips while you're doing the photo shoot. Take a whole bunch of little video clips. You can always just edit them together. You can take a video where you just hold the product. You can add voiceover to it later separately. You can take some fun B-roll footage to kind of splice into other videos at some point. Unfortunately, if you're not into it, that is our present. It's not the future, it's the current time, and videos speak a lot louder than words, so it is a good idea to just start taking videos now as well, along with the photos, to use on social media. Once you are truly satisfied with your photos, you can stop and start editing them. Obviously, if you're editing them on your phone, you can just start. Otherwise, if you're using another device, you want to save them to whatever preferred cloud service you use. I use Drive because I have a Google phone. It's built in. But use whatever you want so you can download them to your laptop or iPad or what have you. And then it's time to start editing. So let's do that. So first things first, I'm just going to show you guys what I personally use. It's not what you have to use, it's just what I happen to use. I use this app on the iPad called Peachy pretty often. Unfortunately, right now, they've recently changed their name to AI Face and Body Editor. I could not tell you how much I hate that. But really, I just use it because I personally really like the filters that they have available. There's a whole bunch of them. And the thing is with phone photography, sometimes the lighting can just be so weird. So these filters are just really helpful to just give kind of like a wash, like a color effect to every photo really quickly, so that you don't have to do them all individually in some other photo editor, which can just take a long time. I say that, I mean Photoshop. I have Photoshop. And it takes so long to edit individual photos to make all of the colors match. But if you just use a filter on all of them instead, just favorite a filter so it shows up over here for the photo shoot that you like, and then whatever percentage you decide to do it at, you can just do this save over and over to each photo. And it takes 5 minutes to apply this to every photo in your photo shoot. So I just prefer to do this first before I do any editing in Photoshop, because it just brings them all together. Now, I did mention some cheating earlier. You're allowed to cheat, okay? One thing I like to do in the Peachy app as well is they have this little acne thing. I turn it quite far down, zoom in, and then, you just soften everything. And if it's not quite good enough, turn it up a little more. I mean, no one's skin is perfect, and I certainly don't do every little flaw, but you know what? The ones that are distracting, I mean, at the end of the day, the whole purpose of the photos is to sell my crochet pattern, right? So I don't want the focus to be on any skin imperfections. I just want people to look at the product. And like I said, I don't take out everything, and it's not getting rid of everything. It's just softening things. And then I bring them into Photoshop and do any further little edits that are required. Sometimes they look a little bit darker on my laptop than they do on my tablet or my phone. So I maybe will brighten them a tiny bit or increase the contrast. But that's usually really all I do in Photoshop these days. I really like the filters in the app on my iPad. Now, do not feel that you need to pay for Photoshop just to be a crochet pattern designer. That is crazy. I've had some copy of Photoshop since 2003 for non-crochet related reasons. So I just am really comfortable and familiar with Photoshop. And also, this is Photoshop CS2. This doesn't cost me a monthly subscription. I own this. I'll own this until it stops working on future laptops. So I'm sure one day I will be paying the monthly fee for Adobe software, but it will not be in the next few years. So hands down, the number one free thing I can recommend for everyone, whether you're on your phone, an iPad, or a computer, is Pixlr. It's basically a free online Photoshop. Like, it does pretty much everything Photoshop does. It does everything you would need to do to edit your photos as a crochet pattern designer. It's available, like I said, on phones, both Android and Apple, and iPads, and computers, and like it works. And for computers specifically, if you want a program that doesn't require you to be online to use it, you can download GIMP. GIMP has been around forever, okay? It's an open source photo editor. It pretty much does all the same things as Photoshop. Pretty much. The last time I used it, which was over a decade ago, it was fairly glitchy, but I mean, it's free and you don't have to be online to use it because it's a program installed on your computer. So if that's a worry for you, you can download that. Another app to have just kind of in your hand for maybe when the internet goes down for unknown reasons is Lightroom from Adobe. It's free for phones and tablets, but not computers. Of course not, right? It does have some premium only features, but I think the vast majority of the features are available for free. So it's just, it's a good thing to just have installed in case you need it. I mentioned earlier with the Luna photos, I used an app to just add a little tiny bit of makeup. This is the app I'm talking about. It's called Beauty Plus. I don't know if it's the best app for this, but it's the app I have, so I just use it. There might be other apps for this, but it's fun to play with, and it works as long as you don't need like a really high quality image. Like I wouldn't recommend this for like listing photos, but like for blog photos or social media photos, it is a-okay. Not that you should be obsessed with adding makeup to everything, but you know what? Adding a little bit of eyeliner to a photo sometimes just looks better, okay? Let's be real. Okay, so you've edited the photos, but you don't know what size you should save them at. So, obviously, the higher quality, the better they're going to look. But at the same time, the higher quality, the more storage space they're going to take up. So, if you want to save them at like 2,000 plus pixels, go for it. Etsy will be really funny and try to tell you that they should be at 3,000 pixels. If you were going to like print them in a magazine, I've had my project photos printed in magazines, and they're like 1,500 pixels, okay? You don't even need that. For print, you don't even need that necessarily. So, my photos, like me, an actual successful business owner, 1,500 by 1,800. That's it. Etsy's gonna tell you they're not big enough. Etsy's wrong. What is it, like 60-some% or more at this point of online shoppers are using their phone? 3,000 pixels. Shut up, Etsy. 1,500 by 1,800 is plenty. Alright, and that's the end of this video. Next video is going to be typing up your pattern, not getting the PDF ready, but just typing it up. And like what to do while you're typing it up and why. Bye!